All right. Um, Back with another video. So let's get into it. Um, Kind of showed you all the hardware that I'm running here in my house, Homelab. Um, so yeah, I showed you some of the hardware that we're running. Now let's kind of get into a little bit of the software that we're running on that hardware. Um, so first starting off, of course, we got the network. Um, with that, using all Ubiquity for networking, all Unify equipment for networking. So, of course, I'll show you a little bit of my topology here. Um, so, the way I have it set up is I have my WAN, which is Comcast Xfinity. Instead of using the all-in-one router modem access point switch combo that they give you, I opted for the modem that they have, um, the UDM Pro, and then a switch, which I showed you all in the last video. Um, so this is basically how it's set up. It goes from Xfinity, which is my WAN, to this product is a newer product, that UCI that I mentioned in the last video. And if you haven't seen the last video, it's on the page. You can go check that out. Um, so goes from coax, um, via coax here. It goes from Comcast to the modem here, and then the modem which is I think connected by that DAC cable. Um, Goes to the Dream Machine Pro. Then the Dream Machine Pro is linked to that switch, which has 8 PoE ports. It has 16 ports in total, but 8 of them are PoE. And then I didn't show you this in the last video, but I do also have two smaller desk switches, kind of like those. I think it's called the Mini Flex on Unify's website. So I got those, um, and they're both PoE. So I have one on my desk and one goes with the items in my bedroom, and everything else here is just connected through there. Um, and I have the access point, which gives us the Wi-Fi. A few devices connected to the Wi-Fi, and mostly hardwired though. I like to run a cable through everything if I can. So mostly hardwired. On here, also have this is just another way of looking at it. I have the other camera that I have, the G3 Flex, which is PoE as well, and it's connected to that 16 port switch. Um, I have a couple VLANs set up on here, and I also have a guest network set up. So that way, if I have any guests, they can connect directly to their network, and that way they're not, maybe if they are at risk, they're not connected to my main network. And I have VLAN set up for my IoT devices, like I mentioned this before in the last video, because I run some of the smart home devices like Philips Hue. I run that, have that VLAN off. But there's a specific way you have to set that up. Maybe I'll do a video on that to set it up and still be able to control your devices from your phone that's connected to your main network. So I'll go over that. And here in the dashboard, it's pretty simple. It gives you can take a look at the ports, you can look at your clients. Um, you got the settings here. That way you can do your all the adjustments and things you want to make. If you have a camera, if you have a unified camera, they have Protect, um, and that's pretty much how you go from that. So that's basically my network. It's basically the software side of the network. Um, and then I have a Synology NAS, the 4-base Synology NAS, which runs um, DSM, which is basically the operating system for Synology. Um, and on that, I have a few virtual machines. Um, I have set up, let me see, which I set up a Linux, Ubuntu virtual machine. Obviously, none of them are running now. I have a Windows 10 virtual machine and a regular Windows 11, and then I have a Windows Server 2022, which um, these are kind of just for testing. These are all for testing. They're all basically sandboxes that I use. Um, the Windows Server 22, I'm getting that set up. Probably try to run some Active Directory things on there, test some things out. But other than that, I have that, and that's through the Virtual Machine Manager. Um, I also run a Plex server on my Synology NAS. Um, so I run that, and this pretty much has some movies that I ripped off, a bunch of DVDs that I own. I have a bunch of movies that I ripped. I'll probably at some point maybe add some more to them, but this was just a little project that I did. Just I don't know, just to see how it runs. So this is my Plex server. I don't use it very often, but I have it running on the Synology NAS. So, and maybe if you all want a video on that, I'll show you how to rip DVDs and add them to your Plex server, or just rip them and keep those files somewhere. Maybe that you can play it off of. Also, on the Synology NAS, I'm running Homebridge, which I use to bring over my unified camera over into HomeKit because I pretty much run everything through Apple Home. All my smart tech, all my smart home tech is set up in Apple Home. Make sure to get um, hardware and technology that works with Apple Home. Just because I'm kind of deep into the Apple ecosystem. Like as of right now, I'm using a Mac, so I'm pretty much deep into the Apple ecosystem. So it only makes sense. And Unify doesn't Apple doesn't natively support Unify, so I use this Homebridge plugin, set up Homebridge on my Synology NAS to bring it over, and so now that I can see my unified cameras in HomeKit, along with any other HomeKit compatible cameras that I have. So that's the way I do that, and that's pretty much it for software that I'm running. At some point, I'll probably get some other things spent up. I might dive a little deeper into setting up those VLANs. Um, I may also do a video on how to set up Homebridge because I know a lot of people. There's an easier way you can just straight up pay for it, or you can set it up this way, have it running on something, but it has to be running on a computer that's always running on that network. So I guess I can show you guys how to do that as well. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I'm running. I got my unified networking equipment and the software that it runs. Got my Synology NAS, and it's running DSM. Set up that Plex server in Homebridge, and I got a few VMs on my NAS as well. So a lot of things I run on my NAS just because it's always on, um, and it's always running, and it's always going to be connected to my home network. So, and I've secured it pretty tightly with um, Synology's security policies. Um, that's pretty much it for this video. Um, yeah, check out that. You can check out that last video I did about the hardware and kind of match it up with this video and see what you like. And if there's anything else you guys want me to do, drop some comments. Let me know. All right, thanks, guys.